Right, end of day 3 of the Brisbane Test match. India are 71 for 1 in their second innings, still trailing Australia by 26 runs. To analyse day 3 for us now, we are joined by former India captain Sunil Gavaskar. Sunny bhai, from 247 for 6 to 505, the last 4 Australian batsmen have almost doubled that total. Where do you think India went wrong?
Well, it's a familiar story, isn't it? It's a story that we've seen with Indian cricket. It happened in New Zealand, it happened in South Africa. So I think it's a lack of plan B. Sometimes when they decide that they're going to use this particular plan, and today the plan seemed to be to bounce Mitchell Johnson, and it didn't work. Because what happened was when Mitchell Johnson came into bat, the ball was about 70-something overs old. It was not hard and it wasn't going to bounce as much. And so he got away to a start. And don't forget that Mitchell Johnson has got a Test 100 under his belt. So you just allowed him to start. You didn't confront him with a spinner at the start. So I don't think the tactics were entirely right. It might have worked as far as getting Brad Haddin out was concerned. But the moment you find plan A is not working, you've got to go to plan B. But I don't think India seemed to have plan B today.
Right. So anyway, that was my next question. You talk about that short pitch deliveries. It did work really well against Brad Haddin. They got him out, and even the ball was as old as you're saying at that particular time. Could you really blame the Indians then for continuing with that plan?
Well, I mean, once it doesn't work, you've got to look at another plan. There's nothing wrong in trying that same plan out for another batsman, a new batsman. But again, nothing really came up to the shoulders as far as Mitchell Johnson was concerned. Everything was below the, almost around the waist. And for him, it was very easy because, you know, if you pitch at about 130-35 kilometers per hour, halfway down the pitch, then it's easy because you get that much more time to see it. So once that plan was not working, they should have done something else. But unfortunately, they didn't. And look what has happened. Even after that dismissal, after Smith and Johnson were dismissed in quick succession, you would have thought that they would have been able to wrap the innings so that the lead that the Australians took would be much lesser. But even that didn't happen because this is still a good pitch to bat on. But I don't think there's the kind of variety there is in the Indian bowling which can take the numbers 9, 10, 11 out pretty quickly.
Okay, Sunny bhai, the reason I'm asking you about the bouncers is, you know, we have two situations here. You have Mitchell Starc, who bowled a, correct line in length when Australia were bowling, and then the Australian commentators called him very soft, saying he lacks the aggression. Now you have a group of Indian fast bowlers giving the short stuff to the Australian, but I read a lot of criticism against the Indian fast bowlers. Do you think it's the difference in culture, how we look at our fast bowlers vis-a-vis India, Australia or Pakistan for that matter?
No, I don't know. I won't go into details about all that because really it's not my area of expertise about somebody being soft or strong or hard or whatever it is. I just think, tactically India was found wanting in this test. It has been found wanting when it comes to dismissing numbers 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. In New Zealand we had the same problem. In South Africa we had the problem. And so maybe I think, the think tank needs to focus also on how to bowl to 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Sometimes the bowling group and the think tank can get into a situation where they're talking only about the first 5 or 6 batsmen and not really putting enough sort of thought into getting these lower order batsmen out. And it's a lower order batsman that have been thwarting India over the last year and a half.
Right. In general, I was talking about the approach by fast bowlers. India now has a group of fast bowlers trying to, walk the walk and talk the talk. We see them being a bit aggressive, bowling short pitch deliveries. I remember Imran Khan often saying that if you have a fast bowler, you have to accept him with his eccentricities as well. So, is this something that we as Indian people also need to accept, that if you do get fast bowlers, you can't expect them to be really well-behaved boys on the cricket field?
Well, where's the question over here? I think we are talking about, not talking about behavior, we are talking about taking wickets. And they have not been able to take wickets. So I think there's something that they might have got wrong in terms of, the line and length that they were bowling. And I think that is what we should really look at. I don't, as a test batsman, I wouldn't be bothered really too much about what the opposition is doing. I would just be focusing on my stuff, which is to bat, which is to try and score runs. And similarly, the bowlers have to focus on what they are doing, what they're picked in the side for. They're picked in the side to get wickets, not to strut their stuff around. If they're going to strut their stuff around, they've really got to walk the walk. And have they done that? When teams scored 500 runs against you, you've got to question that, no?
That's correct. Okay, now talking about this match, as we said at the start of our discussion, that today Australia dominated. But if you were to look at that match, it looks like evenly poised because India is now 71-1. How do you see this match now panning out?
Well, I think India is still not yet out of the woods because they're still 26 runs behind, and India need to bat as well as they did in the first innings. What is going to be in India's favour, of course, is the fact that the pitch is still playing well, and on day 4 it will be even slower than what it was on day 1. So that will ease the problems a little bit for the Indians, and all that they've got to do is really concentrate hard and make sure that they bat the whole of tomorrow and maybe even halfway through to day 5 to ensure that the match is completely safe.